My name is Alissa Cooper. I'm a distinguished engineer. I work at Cisco, and I'm representing the IETF in the coordination group. The IETF is the standards development organization that develops the core internet protocols, so things like IP and HTTP that we use on the web. And those protocols often have parameters associated with them, unique numbers that need to be set out in a database somewhere so that our computers can talk to each other on the internet. And IANA is the implementer of the protocol parameters function on behalf of the IETF. So we interact with them a lot every time we need a new parameter, which is like every week. We have correspondence with IANA to get those parameters allocated. Within the IETF, we have a good amount of overlap with folks from the DNS community and also from the numbering community. As I said, we define the core protocol. So the DNS protocol is actually defined by the IETF. The internet protocol is defined by the IETF. So we definitely need to keep tabs on what's going on in the RARs and in ICANN and understand what's going on with the other functions because they are interrelated in some way. The stewardship is one of the important roles in the whole IANA ecosystem. Obviously, IANA itself does the implementation, which is kind of a very rote mechanical sort of function. We have separate communities that develop policies, so for protocol parameters, that's the IETF, and then there's other communities that develop policies for the other functions. But it's really important to have some mechanism that creates accountability over the fact that IANA is indeed carrying out those policies according to the wishes of the various communities. So it's, from the IETF perspective, it's not a role that we think about very often because our experience with IANA has been so positive for so long. Everything runs pretty smoothly as far as we're concerned. But if that were to fail, or if it goes away, or if anything were to change with it, that's when you would start to kind of wonder about it. So it's an important role, but it's not really top of mind for us because it has been working quite well for a long time. A couple years ago, I was appointed to the Internet Architecture Board in the IETF, and that's really when I started to engage more on issues related to IANA and to understand better the relationship between the IETF and IANA. And while this role and that role are not really the core part of the technical work that I do in the rest of my job, I wanted to be here because to me it's really important to get this right. The proper functioning of IANA matters very much to the proper functioning of the internet, and so having a smooth transition is really important so that your average internet user out there doesn't notice any change on the day of the transition, and that's really my goal and why I wanted to be a part of this. So I think the IANA stewardship transition is certainly one aspect of lots of larger conversations going on with internet governance. I think the broader frame that's most relevant from my perspective is that this is a conversation as far as the transition goes that's been happening with NTIA and the US government for many, many years. So the IETF leadership has been engaged on this topic and thinking about the role of NTIA and whether it will continue to be necessary, going back nearly a decade. So to me, this is kind of the natural evolution of that process. It's just another step in the process. It's certainly in those 10 or 12 years or however many it was, internet governance itself has evolved very much, and so there's all these other dynamics at play. But to me, it is its own piece that can be separated from some of the other things that are going on, and it's a very important piece.